so I'm gonna do the color mixing now for everyone. So as I said, your titanium white has a cool undertone. So normally when you do oil paintings, the number one tendency or the number one difficulty is that it becomes too cool. It dulls down. That's because your titanium white is what we use to lighten everything. That's normally what beginners do. They want to lighten a red, they get titanium white to lighten it. And then it becomes pink. You know, so they get confused. They say, I just wanted to create a lighter red, but I come up with a pink because I mix it with titanium white. So I'm going to show you how you can lighten colors and how you can darken colors without losing the hue itself, without altering the hue. Okay, so what I have here, I'll just mix the orange first so that you can see. So it's cadmium yellow, a bit of cadmium yellow, and then I always mix with a palette knife so that you can always clean the palette in between to make sure that you get the purest color. And then I have cadmium red, and when I mix this, I'm going to get an orange. Now, if you want a lighter orange, then you get more cadmium yellow. So now that means I don't have to go out and buy a tube of orange because I can easily mix it with my red and my yellow. So now there's my orange. Okay, now let's say, for example, I have this white. I want something that's light in value, but not totally white. So this one, if you look here, this is actually cadmium yellow mixed with titanium white. So I have a lighter color that is not white. So again, this one is cadmium yellow and titanium white, and I get this. So this will be now my warm white, okay? Because titanium is a cool white. So I have a warm white here. If I need it to become even lighter, I'm going to get a bit of that mix and then add even more titanium white. And I get another value of white, which is warm white. And I put that there. Okay. So now, anytime I need to lighten a color, I don't necessarily have to go to titanium white. So for example, I want to lighten my red. I'll show you the difference. If I lighten it with this color is titanium white and yellow ochre. Okay, so again, this one is titanium white and yellow ochre. This is titanium white and cadmium yellow. Now, if I mix my red with a mix of titanium white and cadmium yellow, I'm going to get a lighter red, but still warm. So if you can see that there. Okay, so it's still a warm red, but much lighter. But if I use this, if I use the same red and I mix it with titanium white, what I'm going to get is more of a pinkish tone already. See, so look at the difference between those two. These are almost the same value in terms of if it's dark or light, but you can see here that it has more of that, you're able to retain more of that warm color as compared to this, which has a cooler color already because it's pure titanium white. So what I suggest that you do is before mixing with your pure white, you try to go to these lighter values first, okay? Another thing, for example, you want to mix a cool white, okay? So I showed you your warm whites. If you want to mix it with a cool white. So this is Payne's Gray, okay? Now my Payne's Gray is my darkest dark. If I mix that with white, this is going to give me a gray. So this is now what I will use for my grays. So again, I don't have to go out and buy a tube of gray paint. If I want an even lighter tone, let's say I want a cool white, I'm just going to get a little of this, mix it with my white, and then now I have a cooler white. Okay, so I have a cool white and I have a warm white. So if, for example, I want to lighten ultramarine blue, and I want to keep it cool. Instead of going titanium white, I'm going to go to this cool white because I've already pre-mixed it with Payne's gray. So I'm going to have that. If you can still see that, there you go. Okay, so I'm able to retain that cool color. Now, if I want a warmer version of that, a light version of my ultramarine blue, but warmer, then I'm going to go to this color. And you will notice that there's this difference in temperature. So you have a cool and a warm blue. So these are the things that you have to look for when you do your painting. Because you want, again, variety in temperature. You want to go warm, cool, you want to go light, dark, you want to go high saturation, low saturation. So you always have that contrast. You know, it's like they're always pulling one another instead of just being stagnant in the middle, because that's not going to look interesting. So you just want to have that, you want to keep that play of contrast. It's like simultaneous contrast all throughout the painting. Okay, so again, my darkest dark is this. Now, when you need to create a violet, what I do is I get my ultramarine, my alizarin crimson and my ultramarine blue. And this is going to give me a nice violet. And my violet, I usually place it at the bottom of my palette. And if I want to lighten this, because not naturally, if you have your dark pigments straight out of the tube, you don't see the characteristic of that paint. But if you add white to it, you'll be able to see it. So now I have a lilac. So this is the ultramarine blue with the alizarin crimson, and I mix it with titanium white. And now I will have a lilac. And this is the color that goes in some areas of the garment. Okay, so just very little of that, need very little of that. Okay, so basically that's it. Now, again, if you want to create a warmer brown, a warm black, so I'm gonna get my Payne's gray, and then I'm going to mix a bit of my burnt sienna. So this will give me a warmer black. And how do you know that it's a warm black? Just so that you can see the difference. Okay, when I mix titanium white with it, can you see the difference between this gray and this gray? See? So you have a warmer gray now and a cooler gray. You just shifted, okay? Instead of just using Payne's gray with titanium white, which gives you a cool gray, I added burnt sienna to my Payne's gray, and automatically when you add white to it, you get a warmer tone. So then you don't get stuck with just one type of gray. So this can be confusing at first, but as you just have to play around with your paints. You really have to mix. So what I suggest always with those who are starting to do oil painting, don't go out and get as many tubes as you can. Get a basic 12 or a basic 13, and you try to mix with that, because that's really the only way for you to understand color. If you mix it, if you work with it, and work with a limited palette initially. And then once you gain mastery over those colors that you have, you slowly add one by one. Don't get like 24 immediately, because you really won't be able to understand your colors. You'll have the tendency to, okay, I know that color is violet, I'll get my violet color. But imagine if you were out painting plain air, you cannot bring all 24 tubes. And it's also not going to be very cost effective for you, because you would always have to replenish that many tubes instead of having just your basic 13 or basic 12, master that. And then once you know how to mix those, once you know what colors you can get out of those, then you will see, okay, I think I need this color, I need that color. But basically, the most that I have in my palette is, the most is 14. That's the most that I have.